Good morning, everyone. I know it's Sunday and most of you are probably sleeping in, so unfortunately I don't. My weekends are my busy times. Monday and Tuesday are my days off, and even then I don't get those days off because I'm grooming at home, my own dogs, and everywhere else. So what I'm coming to you is Border Collies. I know we get a lot of them in, and around in my area that I groom, I have finally gotten some farmers to bring me their dogs, because most of the time they'll bring them to me once in a blue moon, matted and covered in burrs, and they say just shave it off. And it's like, no, we don't want to do that. So they find it really funny because I'm a groomer that's going to talk them out of shaving their dog rather than just shaving it. So they've always taken them to places where, you know, the groomer doesn't care or they doesn't know better, okay? I'm not saying anything bad, but they don't know any better, and they just do what the person says. So I've changed a lot of that, because a lot of the Border Collie people or the farmers that had them would bring them in and they would go, I don't want them shaved, but it needs to come off, they're matted or whatever. I can surprise them if they give me the time with the dog. I usually give them back a full coated dog and they're going, oh, they're shocked as hell. So that's the thing that I tend to do. Now, one of the things that I offer to my farmers and things like that is we trim the feathers on the butt, we trim the feathers on the legs, we trim up the underneath part. I still leave all this rough and everything around their neck for a couple reasons. One, if they happen to get into a bickering fight with another dog when they're out working, the Border Collies have that rough, that's to protect them and kind of thing like that. And two, God forbid, they're out there and they run across a snake. They're gonna get bit usually on the face, but God forbid if they do come across one, you hope that they would go for this rough where it's all that hair, the snake can't get to anything. So I leave that for protection, okay? It's a rarity that you'll see me take it off or trim it. I might lightly go over it, but I want to show you, okay? So this is Marley, everyone. How popular is that name? Come here, girl. Stand up. Good girl. Come on. So she's a very good working dog, and she does show a lot of like old arthritis and stuff like that in her joints, so she wants to sit all the time. Now, I have not touched this side. I'm hoping you guys can tell she's got really long feathers. Stand up, baby girl. Good girl. So we have a whole bunch of long feathers. So she looks real, she's clean, she's all and ready to go. But we have all these little long scraggly, especially her butt. I mean, I hope you guys can see exactly how long that is. Now, I've already done the other side of her. I will try to see if I can't zoom this in. So don't bother, I won't be in the photo, but that doesn't matter. So you can see that I've trimmed this up, okay, compared to this. Look at all that, okay? This was all matted and tangled, had a few burrs and sticks and stuff like that. I've managed to save it. You want to brush it out so that it's completely. But I'm going to show you a little trick. So if your client doesn't want to do this or you don't want to do this, okay, I'm going to show you how to trim this up, okay? So hold that tail out of the way. Hopefully she will stand here, and I'll see if I can adjust this. So I usually like to get my really big comb out when I do this. Now, like I said, probably most of you will brush it straight back and probably just go to trimming it, which you can do that. But the way that I was taught for trimming up these show dogs and things like that, we brush it all to the side and try to brush as much as we can over to it. Now, if she'll stand for me. So, now, you have to look through this. Can you see a natural curve already of that? You take your scissors and you just rough it in, okay? Don't try to panic too much over that, okay? And you'll do this a couple of times because you'll have to pull more hair out. Okay, so that gives you that angle that you need on that butt, and then you can just scissor and trim any of that. Because I know this bit right here, okay, trying to scissor this is a pain in the butt. If you start by doing this first, and there's a natural line, like I said, she's not going to want to stand up. There's a natural line. If you look within that that hair, you'll see all the thin wispies. Cut those off. Cut this to cut it to what you see, and then anything else you can just lightly trim up. But this gives them that nice rounded butt without being straight up and down and slab-sided. Come on, baby girl. Stand up for me. So that is one way, okay? And the same thing. You would just brush all this to the other side and trim. Okay, and probably that can use a little tidying up. Okay, it's still long, it's flowing, but it's a little bit more of a natural look. Now, she's going to get trimmed like this on this side, and I use the, it's the Oster's 38 millimeter, 1.5 inch. So that's what I use. Stand up, beautiful. Oh, baby. You're all right. Good girl. Okay, so I know you've seen me do this the last couple of days, but you know, I had a border collie that was pregnant. We did something very similar. I think I did like a poodle the other day. And it's the same thing, just with a longer comb attachment. Okay, so with my clients that are border collies, like I said, that tend to, they don't want all this hair. It gets matted and tangled when they're out in the field. So there's those two little pin bones. That's usually that's right where my teeth go on the clippers. And I just kind of follow right down. And now you can sort of see there's a little bit of a line that carries on over here, because you've got some long stragglies over here. If the comb attachment is long enough, you just kind of dwindle your way down. So from here to here, it's kind of a diagonal line to the knee. That I'll clean that all up. And I'm just going to leave that for right now. So now we come over here. Hopefully she'll stand for me. And we'll move this up just a hair. Stand up, beautiful. So now the next thing is I trim all this up and stuff like that. Same thing, I'm taking the same length comb that I did on her butt. And where that rib cage starts to roll down, okay, right about here, I start a little lower and I'll work my way up. But don't go anything above that roll of that cage, of their rib cage. I find it looks absolutely hideous when you go up any higher. So we're just going to go up here. So this was basically trimming all this hair here. And we're just running this underneath to clean up all those long stragglies that tend to get wet. So we're not taking her. She's got still quite a bit of hair. And I go right to the middle of the front legs. Okay, that's usually where my stop line is. And then from the front, I will scissor or trim anything. Okay, so now that I've got the underneath side, stand up, baby. Good girl. So I'm just going to hold that foot so she'll stand up. So now I'll kind of start creeping up just a little higher and working and just grabbing all the little stragglies. That's all I'm doing. Okay? I really hope that you guys can see this. Okay? Now, all I have to do for this is come in with some blending shears, wherever they are. There they are. So I have a little bit of a line right here and a few scragglies. You just come in with this. I will usually take these off as well. And so anything that sticks out of the image that you think you're wanting, you just cut it off. Okay, guys? There's no right or wrong on this cut. Okay, this is a cut that I made up because I had clients, too many of them, wanting to shave down their Border Collies, and it just wasn't right in my mind. I couldn't justify doing it. And this is just a cut I made up. Sometimes I will do that tail. There's a dog that if you guys go to my page, I will actually probably link it on this video at the end. You guys can go to my personal Facebook page or my personal business page, and there's a video I did explaining this cut to a lot of my clients, okay, because I had so many of them trying to want me to shave their dogs, and I just wouldn't. And like I said, I couldn't bring myself to do it. So we've trimmed that, You can just take your thin blending shears, okay? And any little long scragglies right here, I'll kind of bring that in and level it to her chest. Same thing as we did on the butt. If you don't want to run the same length that I did on the butt and the belly on her legs, because I did do that on this back half side, and that 1.5 inch comb is just perfect, it seems like. Again, if you will bring this over, you want them standing straight, and I like a bigger comb for doing this. You can usually find there's that all the wispies and stuff pretty much is what you're cutting off. Okay, if you don't want to go straight down, you can actually kind of just hack at it, but she's got such thin hair. And then you usually will go to the other side if you can, and just rough it in, guys. You don't want this to look freshly cut, okay? Another way, okay, that usually gets it to a nice shape when you just pull it all to the side and you cut it straight off, okay? Another way, if you have really long feathers and that's what they want to keep, okay, you can tip them off, and then anything that you can't get, because there is usually a point right smack dab in the middle of that leg. That point should be about right here. Okay, so there's the middle of her leg. Okay, and that's where that longest bit, that point is. And you can trim some of that. And again, you can just trim it off to make it look whatever you want. But for me, just to make it look like a match on the other side, I just run this over it, and it doesn't take much off. As you see, it really doesn't take much. And that's usually it. So I'll see if I can't bring you guys a little closer. So minus a little bit of trimming, okay, you guys can see it takes the butt hair, but there's still quite a bit there, okay? It's not like we've taken it all off. It grows back totally fine. We have the nice clean underbelly and a nice cleaned up feathers, so they're still there. Oh, no, I want to go out. I want to go out. There we go. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. So, like I said, this is the alternative that I do for Border Collies when they come to me and they want it shaved. They say that take it all off, and this is what I talk them into. I'm doing this about 3 times a year, okay? You're lucky to get a farmer to come in about that many times, but I now have my farmer boys doing that. They bring me their dog for a good bath and de-shed, and that's mostly the ones that still have the Border Collies that are long coated and stuff like that. A lot of times the wives are the ones that want them groomed because they're the wives' dogs. And then I just trim up the feet a little bit. Like I said, I'll link that other video that I have, because him, I do shave the tail. But I was showing a lot of people that, you know, you bring me a dog that's full of mats and tangles and burrs, I can get that out in the bathtub. So it starts off that way with him in the bathtub, but towards the end you'll see the finished look. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to call. Don't hesitate to I mean, my number's everywhere. I think you guys can find it. And don't hesitate to call me. I'm happy to talk you through something. I'm happy to do like a video chat. I've got some condensation in my phone. That's why it's probably not as pretty and bright. So she's gonna lay down. So my phone camera has kind of messed up from the front view, but please keep commenting, keep inviting your friends, and if you guys have anything, please, please, please share it with us on here, because again, I don't want to be the only one. I like to learn new things as well. So I do this, the best way to know if you know how something is to teach it. So you know, how do I put that? The best way to know if you know it is to teach it to somebody else. So if you can teach something to somebody else, you're pretty much a master at that. Okay, you have done it so much that you now are successful enough to teach that to somebody else, and that is the best way to know that if you know, or if you're a good groomer or not, even a good teacher. Okay, I just feel I want to help many people, and yeah, I'm lonely out here. I'm the only groomer out here, so I'm pretty lonely. Feel free to actually, if you ever want to come out, I've got enough dogs for everybody, and you will learn so much more hands-on with me, because you're spending the entire day watching every little trick and thing that I have in the book when I'm doing my dogs. Here, I only try to do what I think is necessary, because if not, I will bore you guys to death, I think. Because I've got tons of tricks. I got them all up in my toolbox, and I pull them out when I need to, because every dog is slightly different to another, or slightly a different cat, or a different horse, or goat, or whatever it is that I'm grooming. Okay, guys? There's a different trick to everything, because I have shown and groomed and done everything. Some of the pictures, if you guys have seen, I've been having a pair of clippers in my hand since I was 9. And a pair of shears in my hand. I've always been doing something with animals since I was 9. So there's, even though it has been many years since I've groomed my sheep and cattle and things like that, I still come in occasionally and surprise a few people on what I know. But I'll let you go. I've got to finish her, and see you guys later. Bye.